Hi, Janet. It's
Good
Kelly. How are you
morning.
doing? Morning. Mickey should be with us shortly, so I'm just waiting for her to join the
Kelly,
meeting.
is
So
that you?
it sure is,
Oh,
yeah.
I'm glad to meet you on Zoom.
Oh, yeah. How are you doing?
Oh, fine. It's summer. Can't complain.
Yeah, not so much here. It's winter time here. It's freezing cold, so yeah, not
Oh,
good.
really? Well, we have
Yeah.
sort of a cloudy day, but it's
Oh,
usually sunny. There
mm,
is
oh.
Mickey.
Hi, Mickey.
How are you?
Oh, she froze. You
Oh, she's
froze.
frozen, but we can still
Oh
hear
no,
her.
this is going to happen, isn't it? Did you already switch it over to me?
No, not yet. No, I'm
Okay.
still hosting, so.
Okay.
We get
Well,
to see Kelly. It's bonus. It's like
yes, you get the
upselling.
real Kelly.
Mickey, you're upselling. We get to see Kelly too. Works with your theme. I gotta tell Karen I have the link. Karen,
Oh, there we go.
never mind.
Now I'm going to have to stop video on my end, and that should keep me going. Wow, it's going to be weird to not see me. Wow. Wow. That will you send me the link to class? Okay. We're getting everybody in.
Good morning.
Airplanes.
How are you? Oh, Wanda's here.
Oh,
Wanda, how are you?
Good morning. I am well. How are you?
Good. Give me the update on you. My camera's off because my thing is freezing.
Well, I'm in Georgia right now,
Here's Donna.
and
Oh,
I am sitting on my bed where I grew up. So,
oh, that's so good. Okay. Well, I'm saying hi to everyone. I'm having some technical issues until we kind of get loaded up here. But we also have Karen Karsten is being actually recorded by Kelly. So for those of you who haven't actually seen the live Kelly,
Hi.
right. So let me see if we'll see how long it takes for me to freeze. But hello, everyone. Hello.
Well, you look gorgeous. You're frozen again, but it's gorgeous.
Frozen.
oh,
It'll kick me out. Oh, well, here we go again. Okay, Kelly, you might have to stay on here.
Okay, no problem.
Because it's gonna mess with me all day.
Is it sunny in Georgia? There's Lisa.
Wanda, is it sunny in Georgia?
I think she said she's messing around with her headphones.
Oh,
She'll
she has
connect
the
in a
mute
bit.
on.
Yeah.
Because Donna, it's cloudy, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah, I was going to go out and water my garden, and it was like 80% chance of rain.
Yeah.
I'll wait.
Right.
I'm excited for the rain because we have a massive cottonwood and it's ankle deep in my front yard.
Oh my gosh, mine too.
It's like snow.
I thought I was done with that for the season. I thought
It's
it was winter.
upselling. The theme's upselling. Cottonwood's upselling.
I love it.
I thought it was winter inside, not winter outside now.
Yeah.
I don't think it matters anymore. It's just the weather's so crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a great, I mean, we've just been so hot and cold, and there was this great thing on social media that said, I've got my flip-flops, my woolly socks, my hot cocoa, my iced tea. I'm ready for the weekend.
Pretty
Just
much.
like, whatever.
Oh, there we lost Mickey. We'll hold on a minute and just see if she comes
Oh,
back
man,
to
that
us. Yeah.
sucks.
Just see, I'm sending her a message. Surprising, I'm still online. In South Africa, we have something called load shedding. So the government decides to switch off our electricity for about 2.5 hours a day, depending on what stage we're on. So currently now at the moment, we have load shedding. But yeah, luckily, so no power or anything, but luckily I'm still online, so that's okay.
Wow, that's really interesting. They actually limit
Yes,
the power.
yes.
Is it because everybody was remote and like working from home?
No, they just there's not enough power to go around. It sounds really silly. I know, speaking to friends in the UK, they can't believe it, but they do. They limit our power. So we'll go anywhere from stage 1 all the way up to about stage 4. So obviously stage 1 once a day, stage 4 up to 4 times a day. So
Oh my
yeah,
God.
it's crazy. It's crazy. And it's winter time now
So,
too, so it's freezing outside. Yeah, so not good
so
at all.
what do you do in the winter because it's freezing? Like, how do you adjust? Do you use like, go to the fireplace at that point?
Yeah, I mean, luckily we've got like a little gas heater, if that makes sense. So we use gas, and then obviously we have a schedule. So, for example, today I knew it's 4 p.m. here where I'm based, and I knew it was going to go off from 4 till 6:30 tonight. So you just improvise and you make dinner before or after. So yeah, it's tough, but we get by.
How long has this been going
Wow.
on?
For as long as I can remember. I was originally based in the UK and then moved back to South Africa in late 2015. So when I arrived back, it was something that was really unusual. I thought, okay, hold on a minute, this this is very weird, but we're so used to it now. And I think for the past almost 6 years I've been here, within the last 2 years, it's become like a regular occurrence. So yeah,
Wow.
it's just the way
That's
it is here.
crazy.
Mm, mm,
Wow. You would
it's
think with
it.
all the modern technology that's floating around that that wouldn't be the state of
Yeah,
case.
exactly. Well, it's like I said, when I tell my friends in the UK, they can't believe it. They're like, but you pay for your electricity every month, but they still
Exactly.
cut you off. And you're like, well, yeah.
And
It's
you
just,
don't get any type of credit or adjustment during those periods.
no, no, no. Nothing
Oh,
like
they have
that.
such a monopoly.
I know, definitely, definitely. We don't have anything like in the UK. There are various different, obviously, gas suppliers or electricity suppliers, so you can shop around. Not in South Africa. There's one electricity supplier, and that's it. You go with them or you go without. So yeah, they're free to
Wow.
do what they want, really.
Where do you live? Do you live in this Johannesburg? Do you live in the city or do you live?
I live in the Free State, so the county is called the Free State. It's about 2 hours away from Johannesburg, so not too far, but it's a small little mining town, so not in the city
Okay.
itself. No, it's too scary.
Wow.
Mm,
I like
Interesting.
that.
yeah. Just see if Mickey has got my message. I think she's having some serious technical difficulties. She hasn't read my WhatsApp message yet, so I think we'll wait a few more moments if you guys are happy with that. I've just sent her another message, so hopefully she gets that.
Kelly, what do you do?
What do you mean? Job
Oh, like
wise?
what's your business?
Oh, okay. No, well, technically self-employed as such. So I
Uh-huh.
help Mickey
Is she?
virtually with all her administration and booking of meetings and what have you. And then I also work as a program manager for a US-based nonprofit. They're called the Borgen Project. So they're based out in Tacoma in Washington. So what we do is we work alongside Congress to help alleviate global poverty. So in the sense of we get team members or college and university students who intern with our organization, and then we liaise with Congress, etc. So it's quite interesting.
Wow.
And yeah, I'm the program manager for a couple of the teams there too. So everything's online based, which is good in terms of what I do on a daily basis. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, Alice is
Yeah.
here.
Well,
Yeah.
why don't we go around and just introduce ourselves? I mean, like if Mickey can make it back on, she'll be like, haven't you done that yet?
Let me just see. Yeah, she says, hold on, sorry, message from Mickey. She says, I'm frozen and she's rebooting. So she's rebooting her computer. She says, please have everyone do introductions while I'm managing the
Right,
technical
Donna.
difficulties. So yeah, you guys can go around
Yeah.
and chat amongst yourselves.
Well, I'll go first. My name is Donna McCurdy, and I have a business called Neato Tree. It's a creative content studio here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And the first venture that I have going on is a coloring book called, it's a product line called Soccer Birds, about birds who play soccer. And the wonderful thing about it is why don't I have one right here? I do. Hang on, just one. Right here. So the beautiful thing about soccer birds is you don't have it's no nationality, right? It's no gender. It isn't little boys or little girls or
That's so cool.
men or women. It's not co-ed. It's just birds playing soccer, and then they don't have league affiliation either. That's kind of a big deal in the soccer world. So anyway, soccer birds. They're online on Amazon. The coloring book is, and then I'll put in my website in the chat. And that's that.
I think Mickey's joining us now, I think. There we go. She's back.
I love technology. It is my friend. Wow. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
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 Okay, did you guys do your intros already?
We've got Donna. Donna's just finished up. We just need to go around.
All right. Don't forget to put into your chat box your name and all of your information. You guys will have to have me without video this morning. Sorry, guys.
We got a glimpse of you, Mickey.
Right, for 1 minute.
Yes.
Yes, I did an update on my computer, and Zoom doesn't play very well. Okay, did anyone else need to? Has everyone checked in?
Oh.
No,
We had a good time though.
Oh yes.
Oh, hi. Hello, everyone. Sorry, I don't have my video on. I'd like to introduce myself really quick. My name is Chantal Usen. I am a longtime friend of Miss Danielle Dixon.
Oh, welcome,
And
welcome.
Hi.
yeah, I am a librarian in Las Vegas, Nevada. And I was interested in becoming part of this group because very recently I kind of decided that I think I am interested in taking the entrepreneur path. So that's a little bit about me. The product I'm interested in kind of getting involved in is the bookstore world.
Okay, can you tell me a little more about that?
Sure thing. So first things first, Las Vegas has only one bookstore, Barnes & Nobles, and yeah. Yeah, I know it's pretty crazy. And then basically the other aspect of that is the side of town that I live on. I guess just to make it easy for frame of reference in Las Vegas, we have north, south, east, and west. And the only bookstore is in the north side of town. You know what? I might be lying to you. I think, no, that one closed. There's only one bookstore. And so it's just kind of lately there's been a lot of buzz. I was born and raised on the east side, and a lot of people would like to revitalize this side of town. And I was just like, you know, if I was going to pick one thing to do that for, I would want to give my community access to books in a way that they can't get. And so that's kind of my motivating factor. And I feel that it's something we don't just want, it's something we need.
Great, great. And did you put your name and stuff in the chat box?
Right now.
Okay,
do that
we'll
for
put
you.
it in. And,
thing.
you know, kind of happy, I'm happy that you're here. It's a great piece.
Okay.
Lisa, have you done your check-in?
No, not yet, but I guess I'm checking
Okay.
in right now.
Give it to us. Give it to
Yeah.
us.
Oops.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Stan.
so
Yeah, no
I'm
problem.
Lisa Covington. How are you guys? Good morning. I'm launching
Morning.
relaunching my business of Prospect Place 549. And what it is a full shopping, new way shopping concept where you have everything from soup to nuts, like a haberdashery in one spot. So figure that, you know, you're shopping with your girlfriends as we always do, and we shop all day, and then we go play, and then we have lunch, and then we shop some more, and then we chit chat. So imagine all of that in one store. And you have a section for a lounge, you have a section for your wine tasting, a little bit of accessories, and some beauty aspects in there. So that will be coming soon. And Nikki, I'm on my homework. So I had a lot of things to do with relaunching my site and getting a lot of things in order. But what I am doing next Saturday, which is going to be fun, is a cute little pop-up because I do Mary Kay as well.
Good.
Yeah, I do
I'm
Mary
so
Kay as well,
glad.
so I get a chance to use their studio as a consultant and throw all that aspect in there to do my test model. So I'm really excited about that.
Oh, kudos to that. I'll do a group clap on that. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm glad about the pop-up. So we'll see what you learn. That'll be very exciting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Hey, Alice, did you do your check-in before I was here?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Oh, okay. I'm on my phone. I'm trying to get into my computer. Alice Flowers. Hello, everyone. I am the owner and founder of AF Image Group. And what I do is I work with women mostly regarding their personal brand, your personal brand. So that includes whether you need to update your business look, your professional look, skincare, makeup, all of that. And I'm also doing a workshop that is scheduled for July, and I will give you guys more information about that once I get everything played out. But it's a really great workshop. It's free. It's all about personal branding. So yeah.
Oh, good. So that's fantastic. So is that product you've built since the last time we were together, or is this just a relaunch?
It's the same product. I have just moved further, and I set the date for it to be in July. Now, what I'm doing with this workshop is free, and I'm going to be doing a pilot. So, of course, I'll be inviting you all to test it out. And my goal is by the first of the year next year is to really create a New Year type of event. But right now, I just want to do a pilot that I'll be starting in July to get all the tweaks, to tweak it, to get all the things out of it. But it's going to be a really great workshop because, you know, I'm not going to be long, but we learn we learn the what in our business. We learn how to become successful entrepreneurs. We learn how to sell our product, but sometimes something is still holding us back. And what I want to do is to really help women to think bigger and to think about what is the next level for me. And sometimes it's about building up your own confidence and courage. That's what this workshop is about. It's empowering you, your personal self, so that you can take your business to the next level.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And your elevator pitch is getting quite good.
Oh, thank you.
Now take so we gotta get that a little shorter. But I love the elevator pitch. You got all the pieces in I wanted to know. So you can get an A for that.
Perfect.
Lisa, what part of the country are you in?
I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Right.
So
So
am
I
I.
actually think that each one of our boxes is in a different state, almost. So we've got Georgia in the house, we've got South Africa in the house, we've got Charlotte in the house, and we've got Las Vegas. So wow, this is fantastic, and Minnesota. So woohoo!
And
This
who's
is a
from
fun.
Charlotte? I'm from Charlotte too. Who else is from Charlotte?
Me, Lisa. I sent you a I am in the chat.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Yep.
Oh yeah. You know, Alice, you and Lisa should work together. I feel like.
We should.
I would love to work with Alice. Are you kidding me? I actually have a guest speaker for my event already in for next Saturday. But yeah, I'm definitely going to team up with you.
Right.
Absolutely.
So if you guys collab, actually, you guys should also meet Wanda, because Wanda has a lot of education and so forth. Wanda, did you already do your intro?
No, I
Okay,
didn't.
give it to me. Give it to
Good
me.
morning. My name is Wanda N. Walker, and I am the founder of Uniquely Yours Consulting and More, which is a consulting firm for nonprofits and churches. I also am a teacher. I work for MCTC in their workforce development. It's continuing education. So I teach a lot of personal development classes, and I've had my business for about 10 years. I also do a couple of signature events for women around vision board and life planning in December. I've known Mickey for 20 years. It's been 20 years.
It's been 20. Yes.
It has been 20. So excited to be here. I kind of pop in and out, and I'm very interested. I've written a whole bunch of books, ebooks, and all of that stuff around different topics that I teach on, and I need to go to the next level, so to speak. And since we've been virtual, the women's event that I do is called the Annual Gathering. It happens the first Thursday in December, and I'm trying to figure out how do I kick it up a notch virtually for this year, or do I do it at all?
Well,
And I do live in Minnesota. I'm just visiting Georgia.
right. But you still have that Georgia love.
Yes, I do. The Southern drawl. Good morning,
Oh,
y'all.
the Georgia love. Now, I'm going to let the group kind of respond to the live. Are you thinking that you're hoping to have it as a live or a virtual? Tell me the quandary.
Okay, so I personally am not that interested in going back into in person right now. I did it in Georgia before the pandemic hit, so I did it in two places, and doing it virtually last year. I had women from across the country, so I am very interested in having that reach still, but I feel like, I've gone to an 8-hour online conference and couldn't believe that it didn't feel like 8 hours. And so it may be time to retool the event. And so I'm just trying to figure out what could I do to make it be a little bit different, yet still keeping that core content of self-reflection and planning.
Okay. Can I let the group respond to that? Would that be okay?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I'm just going to let everybody kind of chime in on, 8-hour event online. Alice, I know you have something on this because you've done a lot of online, and Lisa, so have you. how do you feel about that? Any language here?
Well, I just think it's amazing just seeing what's gone on with this, networking event. Like, we're just meeting so many people that we would have never met before, like you really do have a larger reach, and at the same time, there's folks, I mean, it's a real give and take. But man, there seems to be some really positive stuff that comes out of the online format.
I agree because during this time, I was able to reach more people at like just in this type of setting than I would on a one-on-one type thing where you kind of limited in your area, so to speak. You probably need a balance of both going forward as we start transitioning like back into offices, which, however that's going to look like, or going back into retail spaces. I think you're going to have to mix it up with both to keep the exposure that you have with the online forum using Zoom or Google or whichever type of medium that you use, along with the physical aspect of meeting somebody one-on-one and being in their personal space. If that makes sense.
Okay. Alice, I see your head. I see your head going up and down. You have something to say.
Well, I do like the extra opportunity. It's an opportunity that we didn't have before. I do like in-person networking and meeting and so forth, but I do believe because now we're global, it has helped me at least to even broaden my mindset, my own thinking of that, 300 plus million people in America, I can reach them all now. And, so for me, it's just another tool to reach people. And I think it's something that I will always keep, but I do like and enjoy the in-person connection as well.
So Wanda, here's my take on that. Is I'm kind of piggybacking off of everybody else on big events. When we look at these larger events, what we have seen change is we've seen mailings go out. So that may be part of how you manage the budget portion of it, right? Because I always solve things with math. And that is that they're sending a packet to somebody's house so that when they come online, they've got the t-shirt, they've got the workbook, they've got all of the things that they need, so that when you come together, you do feel like you're a group. And it's really saying, how can we virtually reach out to people so that they still feel like they are live? And so sometimes, right, when we're in class, you'll see me send you a private text, right? Or you guys are texting each other. There are lots of ways to do that. And I think the other part of that is 8 hours is a lot of content for one person to manage. So I think the thing that I would offer to you is you're going to need a co-host and somebody else that can help bring content forward and be able to manage some of the technical pieces. So was any of that helpful, Wanda?
Hey, Wanda, I also, Mickey, if I could chime in too, I feel as a librarian, I get put in, at least in the last year, I've been put in so many virtual conferences. It's been exciting, but a little overwhelming and daunting as well as just being a participant. But one thing I wanted to offer is I think the main focus that would keep me is the topics of the conference and the speakers as well. So as long as you've got a great team on your side, I feel like that's made the difference in the various gatherings that I've attended, because I've gone to some that have been excellent. But then likewise, I've also been to some where it's kind of been a roadblock instead of an opening, if you catch what I mean.
Can you go a little bit more on that?
Absolutely. So which direction, like with the roadblocks or with the speakers?
Yeah.
Okay. So roadblock wise, Because we all are virtual, I think it's really important to remember that everybody, their attention spans are different, and the way that we view screens and are able to interact is also different. And so in making sure that you have speakers that are able to engage, what I mean by that is like, are we connecting in the way that's, oh goodness, give me a second to pull that together, because like, thinking about NPHY, 8 hours is a long time. And if I'm not being engaged in the way that I need, it's really easy for me to just be like, you know what, I might sit this portion out. I might not sit through this end, or I might feel like I'm going to skip this or that. And I think it's just important to remember time length for each panel. And I think that it's going to change a little bit as opposed to in person. This is just my theory. Obviously, anybody can do what works for them. But so
totally get that.
I
We
mentioned I
totally
was
get that.
librarian, but yeah, I mentioned I was librarian, and I don't know what you guys have covered previously. So if I'm touching on things you've already spoken about, please stop me.
This is an awesome group. Just Chan, you're new today, but
okay,
this group rocks.
I agree that 8 hours was like, whoa, 8
it's a big chunk. And and so like something, as a librarian, I do story times with kids, and something that we keep in mind is the research on how long a person can stay engaged for a particular amount of time. And so, and this is just an example. So for toddlers, 20 minutes. You have 20 minutes to get it in, and then that's it. And I feel for adults, it's not 20 minutes per se, but it's a similar timeline where because we've been virtual for so long and everyone's fatigued, we have to remember that keeping it on a good schedule will help enhance the experience. And done right, it's excellent. Done wrong, it's tedious. And I think it's important to keep in mind.
Well, I think I would love to listen to Wanda as a teacher for hours and hours. Totally confident about that. It might just be that I'd get fatigued after a long time.
Right. And I think there's also in there, Wanda, for you, we just did this on the, it was part of the International Peace Meditation Group. And we had 2-day summit, 8 hours a day. And what we ended up doing is deciding the recording chunks. That was kind of how we storyboarded the event, is let's get this recording in so that we can also break it up. So we actually had to log out, log in, log out, log in, as did our participants, so that we could get the recording just right. So having breaks and things like that. Okay, Danny, did you do your check-in yet? Okay, let's get you done.
So my name is Danny Dixon. I am starting a company called A Little Dirt Don't Hurt. It is a flower shop that also teaches people how to maintain and grow their own garden. Part of what I want to do, and I'm kind of getting back to what I love about flowers and what I'm really interested in life-wise right now. So I'm back into learning forensics and floristry because I really love death. It's super weird, I know.
Right.
But kind of getting back into that. And then also I'm learning like herbology and how to use herbal medicine, which is something I've found out I'm really good at.
Oh, good.
So I've actually found what I call the apothecary in Northeast. It's called Magus Books and Herbs, and I've gone and talked to them, and they have a master herbalist, and I'm trying to get into their class.
Oh yeah. Well, I put up another thing that you will like, Danny. It's called Green Hope Farm. Oh, she dyes tinctures, but she does tinctures. You will really enjoy her. as far as just the gardening aspect of it. Well, welcome back. Janet, did you do your check-in?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I'm a graphic designer. I put together a gardening magazine and with a team around the country and world. And then I have a lot of little projects that I'm fired up to get going on now. I took some time off and saw a son I hadn't seen since 2019, and the other one in New York, in Brooklyn, I still haven't seen yet. And some friends from the state of Washington that I don't know when I'll see again. So all the people I haven't seen for a long time suddenly descended, and it was wonderful. So glad I got that chance to.
Lucky you. That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's a flexible schedule can be good, but now I have to fire up and do double time. Thanks.
You love that. Okay, Donna, did you do your check-in?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I
You
think
want to
it
do a
was
quick hi again? Hi.
just how did I do on my elevator speech, y'all?
Oh, that was great.
See, Vicky, you missed it. It was a good one.
Oh, that's so
Donna
good.
said we all should check in because that's what Mickey would want.
All right. And then Kelly got the text. Oh, Mickey says we should check in. So I was like, yep.
See, it's so good. It's so good. Yeah, I do appreciate that for everyone. Okay, I'm going to slide into our conversation today. And because I know what some of you are doing and where you're at, I'm going to also put in some items for each of you. Today's concept, right, upselling and product curation, you're going to really enjoy, I hope. That is my hope, because it's a critical tool. And when we look at product, a lot of you have products that you've already created. So I'm going to give you your homework right away. Today's notes, as I practice today's class, is about 4 pages, depending on how big you write. So I'm going to give you your homework right away as page 1 and 2, which is to put all the products that you have that are finished, that are ready to go, and you're going to start to kind of put them in and start defining them, right? Because you want to be able to see all of the products that you already have finished, complete, or conceptually complete, ready to launch. Then the second page that you're going to want to put into your notes today is going to be really looking at that partial list of what are the products that are almost ready. And just looking at those 2 pieces, I'm a visual person, a lot of you are very visual, will start to help you align in what are the things that that you can combine differently, where to put your efforts. The other piece that you're going to end up doing today is really what I call a strategy grid. So you'll need space in your notes to be able to do that. But basically, that's your homework. We're going to look at the product that you already have, and then you'll want to put in the product that's available, ideas that are there, half finished, put those on another sheet for yourself. And then we'll start kind of working through the curation and the upselling and what's there. If you have product, while my screen is sharing, I won't be able to see what you have. So Janet Mills, I'm going to put you on the report in list. So as people type things in that I should be aware of, you have to interrupt me to let me know that something went in the chat box. Okay. So if you guys are putting questions in the chat box, no, I can't see it when I'm sharing my screen. So Janet Mills, you're on that list of interrupt when needed, okay?
Okay.
I just
if someone has a question, you mean?
Yeah, so if somebody has a question, if they're typing it in or whatever that I should know, you can always interrupt me. But just a new job for you today. So today we're going to go through upselling, product creation, and curation. And it's a fun one because we're going to do this through the brand content. So when we start to look at everything, we're going to be going through brand content and strategy. And so this is where I'm going to give you kind of that advanced conversation. So just exhale and go, oh, okay, I like this. I like this. Because now today I'm going to be layering a couple of things on top of each other. So we have, right, we're going to see brand content strategy and product represented in many ways. So the way that I'm going to showcase this is the product is our recently departed Vincent, who has been one of our interns for so long. So he's going to be our imaginary product. He is a TikTok creator. So that's what he is doing full time. And he has moved to Utah. So this is Vincent in what he's doing. And you know, what would we tell that? Like, a lot of you are a personality and that you are going to try to sell things around who you are, what you are, so forth. So in this case, we would have put in, right, a little dirt don't hurt. We would have put in a bookstore. We would have put in, right, Alice's things, so forth, right? So we're upselling from that. And when we're looking at brand and product, I need you to think about those things as always being aligned as what you're going to put in your journey. So when I want you to think about brand, I want you to think about it as a pair of sunglasses that you put on. Everything else that you're going to look at, right, you're going to look at through those sunglasses. And so when you're talking about your brand, it is all of the emotional elements that are with that, right? So if we were talking about the brand of a TikTok creator, it's a little weird and out there and artsy, right? And if you've ever met Vincent live, he is a little weird and out there and fantastic, right? He's 6'4" with giant fingernails, right? So when you start looking at your homework assignment, so what I've done through today is I've just taken Vincent and all of the mean, lovely pictures that I do of him all the time. So these are things that I'll randomly send Vincent over the last decade of, I did this picture of you, and then he'll groan. He'll just go, oh, I can't, this is horrible. Why are you doing this? This is the joy of working for me, right? So in your homework assignment, you're really looking at what are the existing products that you have that are finished, and what are the new ideas that could be finished. And we're looking to look through them with that brand. If you haven't really worked on your brand identity, you'll want, the cheat on that is to really go, let's go to the emotions that you want. And we'll do that a little bit later in here as well in the curation. The reason I bring up brand is you have to understand brand to be able to do curation. You have to understand what is the overall goal of the relationship between your business and your clientele. So Chan, this will be a really great one for you to think about in what is the brand, what is the mission of what you want those people to come into in this new store. And your shortcut is that you can start building that online immediately. And you and I can talk about that a little bit after class as well. So today we're going to look at these 3 items, right? Brand identity, showcase brand elements, creating new product, who, what, why, where, and then the curation of existing products. That's why you need those 2 lists, right? When we look at brand item, as we go through here, there are some items that you are subliminally always given around brand. So as we go through the slideshow today, these are the things I want you to notice, right? That I photograph Vincent a lot with a feather boa, that we always see eyes, lips, and we always see an emotion with that person. So those are part of the brand messaging. So when you look at pictures, they may seem like they're very obscure, but you'll see the elements repeated in the pattern of how your sales content is. So we've often heard about branded content, but we don't always talk about branded content as it appears in sales, branded content as it comes into curation, branded content as it comes into new product development. So in this case, when we first started looking at product for the TikTok user, it was around makeup, right? So we made sure to show that person always in makeup. So if you are someone who's going to have a store around flowers, we wouldn't have anything ever come out in brand that didn't have flowers somewhere in it, right? If it's a bookstore, we would have product that showcases a book and the feelings and emotions around those items, right? So Soccer Birds would have that. Alice, you have another product that's like that. Wanda, you have specific things that you are looking for in that set of brand sunglasses. The other big space you're going to need on your paper today is really the strategy box, and that's going to come up next. But when you think about product, for those of you who are looking to create new product, of course you have to see, is there a need for it, right? So if we were going to do a product review on this TikTok user, right? What would be the thing that he could showcase, right? What can the brand show that there isn't enough of? And when I posed the question, it was this: there are not crowns for huge heads, right? That there's not enough man crowns. Okay, great. Now we can start kind of building from there. Is there a market need for that? Who would hold it? So forth. You are going to always be inventing in your brand. So you're going to want to give yourself time to just be in that inventing space. So, you know, just an hour, maybe it's 5 hours, but you're going to want to take time to say, here's again, right, that homework list. Here's all the product that we have that's finished in there. And here's all the things that could be. Looking at those two lists, you're going to be inventing off of what you already have. And creating product from what you already have, know, or have intention around is always going to be there. So as you start to go through here, you're going to start to see elements, right? Where you see that creator, but you see that we're putting in these subliminal items so that you know that it's really that brand identity. If you've ever seen a Snickers bar with a different word in it, you still knew it was a Snickers bar, right? Coca-Cola did this, right? That it says, you know, share with a friend, or they put other people's names on it. That brand is so understanding of how does it present to the world. You just have to see Tiffany blue to know that it's from Tiffany's, right? Tiffany blue is the only physical color that has been claimed as a specific color. No one else can actually use that color. We also have one other color that is recent, that is the blackest of black, that's kind of issue. So when you start to think about upselling, it's can you look at a product that's already here, and can you design it differently? Is there a way to say, let me take the picture of this and now let me turn it into something else, right? So just change your lens a little bit to say, can I redesign this? If any of you have read Michelle Obama's book about, you know, her life story, Becoming, this would be a great example, right? She's on the bestseller list again because she redesigned her existing product for younger people. Danny, I don't think you saw this, but you had given Sandy, the realtor, the idea to do home buying workshops for millennials, and she created that. So there's a win for you, right? How can we redesign an existing product? And we did this for Christine, who was in class, right? Where you know who your exact client is, it may be redesigning that client for a different age group, right? That they may be thinking about that existing client as a teenager, thinking about where they are as an elderly person, thinking about them in a decade of their life. That redesigning and upselling may be around selling them a product when they're 21, 31, 41, 51, but just enhanced to be that. Here is your big writing for the day of looking at the strategy grid. When you look at the strategy grid, you're looking at existing, right? This side is existing and this side is new product. The existing part, 100% of the time in every business model, no matter where you are or what it is. And it is true for every business that I've ever seen on the earth. The number one issue that every one of you will have is distribution. So it is distribution of what you already own and distribution of what new things are going to come. So you have to, in all of your product, think about your distribution. How is it going to get to customers? If you don't have any customers, right, you're going to have to learn how to get some. That's what, that's a whole nother class. But today we're kind of thinking about that you already know people, that there are people who are interested in what you do, and how do we, look at the existing things that we have. And so that first box, existing market and existing products, is really to say, hey, is there any way that I can have people stop buying from these giant places and come and buy from a real person, right? So that may be you're trying to take customers from competitors. It may be that you're converting non-users to users. I don't have to give Chan this stat, but the average person in the United States only spends about $25 on books in a year. So how do we take a non-user and make them a user, right? By giving them product in our product development strategy, right? If we're pulling in new products, we're looking for, right, a way that that person would turn from a non-user to a user. What would make somebody who doesn't buy books buy a book? And what we've seen in that is we've seen a lot of workbooks come out, right? That they'll work in a workbook, they'll work in a coloring book, right? How do you take a non-user into a user? You bring them into a place that they can access. So you've seen coloring books go, through the roof, and adult coloring books, and coloring books that have a certain conversation. So if you're looking at product for Nido Tree, it's to say, here's what we already have. The product that you've already created is all of the identity around soccer birds. Right now, you've put it in for young children. How would it be for an adult?
I just had this idea that to make a soccer guide to not, nobody, so few people in the United States are into soccer, and wouldn't that be funny to make a soccer birds guide to soccer for non-soccer fans?
Absolutely.
Boy, there's a market. There's a lot of those people.
Right.
Donna, if that were a coloring book, I would have it.
Right.
And that would be like, yeah, exactly.
Right.
Good. Well, I wrote it down.
There you go. So you've already got it, right? Product development strategy of,
I'll
what
test
is
it for you.
See, there you go. It's there. It's there. So when you're looking at this, those 4 quadrants are going to be crucial for you. When we look at the left side over here, market development strategy and new markets, whether it's for existing products or it's for new products, we're going to go over a lot of this in other slides. But again, for existing products, I'm always looking at who should be buying your stuff, right? Who should be buying your stuff that isn't buying your stuff, right? If we look at Alice's product, right? Why isn't every high performing female on your list, right? So these are the market segments. And then how do we distribute? That piece is going to be for all of you. We've talked about geographic piece. Wanda brought that up, right? That I like doing this geographically, but boy, this other venue gives me a new opportunity. You know, we had 5 different locations all across the planet in our class today, right? So when we look at new geographic areas, you know, we've been teaching NW2 for, you know, almost 20 years now. So, you know, these are ways that we can look at expansion, inviting people in to what that looks like. And the distribution channel for all of you in today's conversation is looking at online. That is your distribution channel. So for the existing products that you have, how do you get them online? How do you get people to be interested in them? Do you have a click through on your Instagram? Do you have an Instagram? Right? That getting people behind a concept or idea. I am willing to bet that in that market development conversation around existing products, if you turned a flower shop into a CSA, we would see a very different conversation, right? To say, let's pick up on the first of every month a new bouquet. Right? Now you can kind of look at, what would I build? How would I get there? I don't have the money to build a whole store and man it all the time, but could I make one huge floral order and have a group listing and have them pick up at a certain time? Absolutely, right? You only have to have a space to do assembly for that day and the pickup. They're going to pick them up. Or you could have, later on, we'll talk about you know, what's the high class version is you could just have deliveries in one day. Great. This is what we're doing. The diversification strategy in products is really, I think where I would look at this is collabs, is to look at collaborations, that the amount of collaborations that are available from Instagram in the last 5 years is mind-boggling, that everybody wants fresh content and they're interested in what you're doing. So a collab for Nido Tree might be that you draw soccer birds with a certain something, right? Or that you lay those 2 products on top of each other and now we post like that. Soccer birds may want to, you know, say congratulations to somebody, right?
Right. Yeah.
So there may be a way for you to do a collaboration with some of these local teams to say, hey, we're going to do a shout out on your big win. You guys took the tournament, you did the championship. We're just going to congratulate them with this image online, right? And now they're going to share that image on theirs, right? So now this is where you start opening distribution channels to your existing product by diversifying who's there, right? Diversifying who's there. So, you know, think about this as a gentle, loving, thoughtful way to play together, right? You're looking for ways in upselling that feels natural, it's exciting, and it makes sense. And the name of this right here would be so if you want to Google it and you want to own this, it's, you know, it's on Google. So it is a new product grid is what that would be called. So we're going to go into curation, right? When you curate something, that's the point of it, right? You're putting it together so that you can help people walk through the ideas as if it were a museum. So if we were looking at a garden, right, we would curate a garden. So an easy thing to do would have been for a little dirt don't hurt would be to say, here's a raised bed space. This is what will work in there, give us $5 and we'll give you the map. What do you buy? What will fit? You know, things like that. It's a curated list. For those of you who maybe use Spotify, that you see people who put up their music lists, and then you can just do their music list. So they'll post them, right? A curated list of, hey, here's what I'm listening to right now. So sometimes a curation list is really helpful. For Chan, this is a really place where you spend a lot of time curating as a librarian. So you understand this. Where I'm saying that the leap will be for you is to curate for a purchasing customer. And that's where your head is going to have to shift.
Vicki, you mentioned Danny and curating and back to brand identity.
Yep.
She mentioned in the chat that everything she is dreaming of for her store right now has a Victorian anatomy and florals.
Perfect. Right. So that piece is really great. Lisa, you have a lot of curating in your model.
Yep.
Tell me how you're managing the curation right now.
Well, I had a basic setup of before where it was more of recreating that Soho shop back in New York that I used to go to.
Right.
So I'm actually using those elements in the rebuild and actually putting that on the website as well. So it's actually that whole shop feel that draws in the customer, if that makes sense.
Yep. So in your brand, right, when we put on that brand lens, it's all of the emotions that you were feeling when you walked into that store.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay. I love it. For those of you who are not familiar with curation, I do want you to just know that it's the hardest thing you could ever do. You have to
yes, it is.
Yes, you have to be willing to open your mind in a whole new way. And that's where fandom, for those of you who are young enough to be parts of fandom, like Harry Potter, you know, Harry Potter has all these, you see, there you go, there's Danny. She's letting you know she's a fan. But again, fandom is the excellent model of curation, because they have to stay open to who else would enjoy your work. Wanda, I think this is actually where you're going to be really strong. Do you do a lot of product creation for your people?
I do, but I've been giving away the farm.
Okay. Okay.
So, you know, I think I do have a lot of things that I've created that I usually will just give to people who have attended my workshop before. But I am very interested in learning how to sell it, or I'm thinking maybe a signature coaching program for next year, because I've got a product called Get It Done that would really work, I think.
Yeah. And so as we're thinking about, because I know you have an enormous amount of content, because you've been creating content for a decade.
Yes.
And Alice, I bet you have a lot of content as well. When we start looking at Alice, do you have a lot of content?
I do. And in fact, the content that I have is, I condensed it to this workshop, and then the rest of my content is being developed to sell. For instance, if someone needs to have a wardrobe makeover, or know what fits their body type, what clothing, what styles work better for their body type, that's a paid service. But in my free workshop, I talk about those things. So yes, I'm splitting it up now to what I want to offer for free and what I will put into a service or fee-based product.
Right. So for those of you who have product like that, I just want to kind of give you some other language around, right, the menu of choices. Is that many times we're offering them, so that free product is really a leader product, Leader, lead. It's supposed to lead you to the next piece. So think about it as a meal that I'm setting down, right? The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to order something that's a beverage. And that's those free products. Okay, well, what kind of beverage am I going to start with? Then we're looking at an appetizer. And that may be, people may order 6 or 8 items off of your appetizer menu. They may like to try lots of beverages. So those are those low-end products that people have an easy time kind of buying into and dabbling with. But all of those products are there to point towards the main meal. And then like that private coaching would then be the dessert, right? What's the amazing little nibble at the end, right? So when you're starting to think about those products that you've been giving away, I want you to reframe them as that is a leader, Leader, right? You're leading someone to buy from you. And then you're looking to say, how do we set the table? Hey, Jamie, and we love you. Wave, wave, wave. Don't forget to put your name in the board here. We'll do an introduction a little bit later. But again, so we are upselling and we're in creation, just to catch you up. I'll go back. We're on creation right now, and we're using the pictures that are all from our old intern. So we're just kind of going through this as product creation. This is Vincent. He's a TikTok creator. So we're talking about brand, right? Putting on a pair of sunglasses that is our brand, and then creating product from around that. The homework, Jamie, that you're going to want to do is you're going to kind of, you'll need 4 pages for today's notes. 1 page is specifically for all the product that you have finished, that's ready to go. And then another one is for the ideas that are almost ready to go. And then there is a grid here that I'll leave up for a second so that you can catch up right here. So this is your strategy piece, and it's good for everybody to kind of review it again. The piece that every one of you has to really focus in on is distribution, right? How do you get it to that customer, right? How do you get what you already have created to your customer? Okay, did you get a picture snapped of this, Jamie? Yeah, okay, I'm gonna go on. So we're in creation, hardest thing to do, right? Open your mind to what is there. And I would focus in on what is the emotion that you're selling. So if we were looking at this weird picture of our product, right? What are we looking at? What are the words that we would use to help us go through this, right? It may be design, it may be some of, these other parts, remix, energetic, it may be the word collage. You're looking for words that help you curate a set of your products. And you're going to be looking at those products through your sunglasses of brand. So if I were going to look at product descriptions for Alice, right, it would be that someone who is a high performing person may need to really figure out what they look like, not just at work, but how do we do the remix of them? How do we reinvent them? What do they have to do to get a new spectrum of energy into the way they're presenting? And so now you can kind of do that curation through word use and inspiration. Wanda, I know you use words a lot in the products that you're doing. And I think that's another way to look at your content, is to curate through the words and the emotion that also lead people to an outcome. Lisa, you're doing this in your shop, right? Where I think all of you would enjoy is these unusual pairings, is putting two things together that people don't normally like. And Danny, this is going to be your mecca. And so same with Jamie, right? These are where you're going to do very well. And Lisa, I think this is another piece to put into your curation of how you can highlight, how you can stay relevant, how you can bring a new conversation to people, is this unusual pairings. Also, that's true of the bookstore. The bookstore concept would also do very well with playful and creative. Everything that works well for you as a librarian is going to, you're ahead, Shan. Do you feel that, or do you not feel that?
I definitely feel that. I feel like I have the edge because I already know what a lot of people are looking for market-wise in terms of their books.
Right. But I think because because you spend so much time as a librarian, you also understand how people interface with the actual product.
That is true. That is very true.
So when you're thinking about having a physical location, this is where I would land, right? Is how many ways can we show unusual pairings, things that make me pause, and coming into this playful and creative. That may be around book launches, that may be around conversations with the writer. This could be, come in and play chess with, J.K. Rowling, right? That it can be something completely different and televised and, be unique, but be playful and creative. Danny, I saw your face go, oh my gosh, I would pay to watch that, right? Some of you are bringing in really big new ideas around things. So, Jamie, and you have a lot of new ideas that are coming out around products that you're looking to create. So when you're looking at a big new idea, you do have to go back in. If it's not attached to other product that you've created, you actually have to kind of pull it off and put it in its own category and go back into that chart, into that 4-prong chart, and look at who's the distribution model and how do you convert customers from the old way into the new way. And that's a lot of times around building a narrative or a meta narrative. So a meta narrative around the South, right, would be that it's humid, right? That everyone is easy to believe, that meta narrative. But if you want to bring in a new narrative, right, you're going to say, well, yes, it's humid, but we have all these great trees that you can sit under that are so, there's wind, there's whatever. You can change the narrative of how people believe the meta narrative. When you're looking at new product or old product, you're looking at, what's the unique piece of that. And for many of you, this is where your personal stories are going to come in. Is why are you great at this? Why is that story in there? Why do I want a Japanese lilac as opposed to a regular lilac, right? Because I want a flower garden that's filled with lots of scent, lots of butterflies, lots of these other things, right? So it's really pointing them as unique. We only get 10 bunches of these. We only order 10 of these a year. You'll want them, right? And we hand pick these trees or whatever that is. So think about how you position yourself as unique. Many of you have an enormous amount of skill that you've been hiding away for a long time. Wanda, I think this is actually going to be really well for for some of the product that you have. Curation is when you are thinking about where is upselling? How do I upsell? How do I have somebody come in, right? They've ordered the beverage. They've chosen many little inexpensive items off of the appetizer menu, hoping that they can fulfill themselves, but they know they still really need a meal, right? How do we get them to get to that main meal? And curation is really where we get the majority of upselling, is to say, hey, we've got an island theme tonight. Here's all 4 parts of that. So when you look at curation, it is where you will see the largest amount of upselling for yourself and the products that you have. And where you see this a lot is the compare and contrast. Well, here's what you get in this, and here's what you get in that, right? Here is a Jamie and Cooks for people. So, here is what a $500 dinner for 4 looks like. Here is what a $1,000 dinner for 4 looks like, right? That this is the chef, this is what it looks like, this is what's included, and so forth. This compare and contrast allows people to find out where they want to be. And in a compare and contrast, you absolutely want 2 sides of the pendulum, because then they're going to say, this isn't quite enough, this is way too much. They're going to go back into that product and look for the medium. You do not offer the medium right away. You keep them hunting. That's where compare and contrast is working. We have this small thing that you can buy. We have this mega thing you can buy. What's in the middle? Well, let's shop through some of these items. And they're either going to go, I really just want 6 appetizers for dinner, right? That it's not enough. It's not really a meal. I'm going to get hungry again later. They're little. Or do I want this big thing that has the coaching and has all of this stuff? Maybe not. Let me see what else is in the menu. And that's where you focus. The main part of your menu is in your primary products, because most of the time they're going to put together those primary products. So a compare and contrast is really how you would have upsold in all of those larger contracts. So for those of you that are doing coaching contracts that are 2,500 or 5,000 or 10,000, you really, that is how you sell that product, is the compare and contrast. When we look at holiday product, that there is a reason why it's there. In this particular case, right, we start looking at all of the images that you've seen, right? The feather boa is back. All of the elements that we talked about in brand are still present in the image, right? But here's where we start going, oh, hey, it's going to be fall. So if we were looking at coaching, if we were looking at plants, if we're looking at everything that you do, whether it be design or anything else, the season matters. The season matters. And what are you going to put out for that season? And how are you going to prep for that? And that's done in curation. And that's where your upsell is. That you're going to say, hey, here is the marketing that we're doing, right? That you may do it in a holiday message. It was easy to tell in here that even though it's perhaps an image that you've seen before of the product, just because it's placed in a little globe makes you think that it's a holiday message in there. So a lot of times the way you're presenting your product is going to give it a feel as if it were new. It's going to make that person look at it again. So taking a picture of the exact same book, except now around, cookies and cake and things like that, that make it look like a birthday party. Now we have a different messaging. And that's where that brand identity is coming through. And now we're curating the product so that the message of the brand can be, you should buy this during this season. So one of the things that Jamie just did is she just put out her Father's Day baskets, right? So she just took a picture and said, hey, here's the Father's Day packages that we have. Here's the price range. I do them all uniquely, but if you want this, you know, send me a PM, send me a private message. She is not in the business of doing Father's Day packages, but that is a product that she has curated that she's only going to do once a year on Father's Day. She's going to do it for her intel, for the people who are into her brand and into her. That's when she's going to sell that product. And a little dirt don't hurt, that will work for you as well. You're going to have a lot of seasonal products and specials, and make that list. But we start that list by looking at those two first homework assignments, right? The homework assignment of, right, what is the products I already have that are finished and ready to go? And then what are the ones that are almost ready to go or that are partially done? If you just change the exact products that you have and put them on a seasonal schedule, it will change the way people stay receptive to it. So Wanda is, you know, right, she has a certain day that she does a certain class. Everybody expects that class that time of year, right? It's the fourth Thursday of December. Did I do it right, Wanda? Is it the fourth Thursday?
First. And
First.
it's there because it gets you after Thanksgiving, but before you really get into the throes of being all of those hat wearers and planning for everybody else, it gives you the opportunity to focus on you and yourself and be ready to go for the new year after the
Right.
festivities.
Right. So that's part of the language. It's only at that time. And then my guess is that you start a following, right?
Yes.
Right. So in those types of products, you're going to have to decide where your product home is. 85% of consumers still prefer a physical store. They want to touch it, they want to feel it, they want to be in it. So if we were looking for an alignment, right, from Soccer Bird's coloring book, right, it would be to Chan's new store, right? To say you don't have to create a physical store for your coloring book. Now we'll send it to Chan, and now we can tell Chan we'll fly to Vegas and have a coloring contest or a costume contest for Soccer Birds, right? So just because you don't have a physical location doesn't mean we can't go there. Lisa, this is a really critical piece for your new store as well, is to give products a physical location. That's one of the things that you offer in all of your collaborations, is that they may not have a space to do that. So I think that's one of the things that if I were going to highlight your store, that's one of the things that we can let them know. 85% of consumers want to come into a place. You can give them that place. Do you have any idea, Lisa, how many products your, or even the size of your shop is going to be?
Yes, actually, because I believe in controlled inventory.
Yes.
So the product offering, I'm trying to limit the brands because I'm not trying to overexpose certain things. So it'll be an accessories category, for instance, but I'm only carrying like 3 brands in there.
Right.
There's food aspect, but there's only 3. Like I'm trying to put them in their own small little compartments. So it's like a little mini department store in a boutique setting, if that makes sense.
And in that, right, just like your pop-up shop is that you can truly have a pop-up shop inside of a regular shop. So
correct.
You can have a new product line come in just for that day.
Absolutely. That's part of the model.
Right. So it's again, right, getting consumers to have that space. And that's one of the collaborations that you will have. That's the real meat of the collaboration, is that you have a physical space. You have a physical
Correct.
space to sell something. Okay, the other concept that we have in curation, right, and that's where the upselling is that sometimes you can outline something bigger. And so outlining something bigger for Alice is to say, hey, we've got to work through all of these parts of you, right? So here's a bigger concept or idea. Wanda, this would also be in your brand, right? Let me outline something that's bigger. Your little issue in this one place is actually something that's bigger all the way around. Skincare has done this forever, right? To let you know that the reason that your makeup looks terrible is because you don't have a skincare regime, right? That you actually have to start with washing your face before you can start putting stuff on top of it. So sometimes it is inviting people to something bigger, right? Bigger size, bigger style, bigger gifts. So look at the products, right? Page 1 on the homework, right? What are the products that we already have? And Alice, you already just did this, right? You went through all your products and went, okay, how can I make this into something different?
Correct.
Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How many different products did you put together for the bigger course?
The bigger course is a coaching program. Of course, it's all around you, the person, and how we can become more empowered. And so it's about your brand includes your confidence, your courage, as well as how do you want to show up? How do you want other people to see you as your brand?
Right.
So that's part of it. And part of that is just helping women realize that our body shapes, our body shape really determines how well clothing fit on us, and that there are certain clothes that work better for different body types.
Right.
This is part of the brand. So while you're talking about brand content, we also have to include ourselves in that, because our image speaks as loudly as our skill and experience. And how do you incorporate that into who you are, your personal brand?
Right, right. And that personal brand, really has all of those parts to it, right? We have physical, mental, spiritual. We're showing up with all of our elements.
Exactly. Yes.
Right.
And in fact, some parts that I'm not an expert in, I plan to have experts come in and talk to, like someone who's very good in mental health, because right now there's a lot of that going on. Fitness and wellness. That's not my expertise, but I would have a specialist come in or someone who is in the area to talk about that, to make sure that we're really rounded. And we're showing up like we want to show up.
Right. So this would be where your collaboration portion of curation is going to be the big deal, is to say, look, here's all the products that's standing next to me. I don't want to have to invent that. I don't want to get out of my lane to do that, but I will collaborate with these other players, and then you just make it financially appropriate.
Exactly. Right.
Right. So you can sell their product on your site, or you can put a deal out to your people. So when you're thinking about curation, especially for those other types of products, you don't have to do all the work.
Right. It's just offering the resources. So it's making it easier for someone to really embrace what I'm doing, is because it's a one-stop shop as far as taking care of yourself. Hairstyles, etc. All of that matters when we are professional business women or just an entrepreneur. How are we showing up from our hair to our feet, or to our clothing and shoes, etc. And it's not about being a supermodel or any of that nature. I just want to help women dress their brand. So no matter what your style is, my goal is to help you to know what are the right colors for your skin tone, what are the right styles for your body type, not to change your style, but to help you develop and understand your style, so that every time you walk out the door to meet someone, you're not only bring your brand, your business brand, but you yourself is going to be memorable as well.
Right, right. So when we look at that in today's content, then again, we're really looking at putting the financial resources in to those partnerships. So really looking at the financial pieces of who are you aligning to and why do they pay you? And then I would focus in on that drink menu, right? As soon as I sit down, what's the first sip that I want to take? And that's where your content strategy would go. So your content strategy would be around a body shape. It would be around these simple things that just get me interested, right? What color tones would I wear? What colors go together? Just these very simple, light and breezy items that can go out on social media that can start leading me to, I want something more. I want something more. I want something more.
Right. Even down to your season, warm or cool. And so that makes a difference too. If you're wearing warm colors and you're a cool person, it's just, so I want to educate women more than anything else on how to take back our power, to feel glamorous, to feel confident, to feel professional, and not walk away from that. And we're beginning to walk away from that a little bit. And I just want to let them know that you don't have to change. You can dress your brand, but level it up.
Level it up, right. And in that, you'll want to think about, and this will actually apply to everyone here, is I want you to think about that Instagram carousel that actually every one of these products would do very well. Everything that all of you sell would really work on Instagram carousel, where that is it's got 3 panels, it's under 30 words, but that's where you can really give people a visual conversation that gives you 3 images right away. So Instagram carousel is one of the things that I would do. And so that brings us back to, thank you, Wanda. thank you, Alice, on
Vicky,
content and education.
Wanda had a comment too in the chat.
Oh, what's the comment?
Do you want to go for it, Wanda? I think, go ahead.
Oh, I think this is a prime time to collaborate because bricks and mortars may be willing to try something different to increase access to their spaces because of the pandemic and people wanting to, everybody's reopening. And so I just had the idea of about a spa. Part of what I do is about self-care, that balance.
Absolutely.
So maybe, come spring, we might do a day at the spa.
Right. And so then we would have positioned that, knowing how the spa pays its staff, right? That they're going to most of the time do a 50-50 split. We're asking the spa to take 20% of their split, which is all of their profit, by the way. That we're going to ask them to say, look, and then I want you to pay me a percentage of all of our ticket back. That's that they're going to have to rebate you. So if it's a spa you really like, you can have them rebate you in personal product, but you still have to claim that on your taxes. So just have them give you cash. But so remember, I don't like to do anything that doesn't lead to additional resources of investment, right? So a lot of times I can trade collateral on something. So that spa, it would have been worth it to me to have them send out your spring package for them, that you could have curated a class that was just for them that all of their customers could do online. If they would have just put that out, it might have been worth the spa day. So we're looking for resources to come back to you in every collaboration and usable resources. I just like cash.
Yeah.
It makes it clear, the relationship clear. That's why I like cash.
Yeah. If I can jump in, I'm inspired that I took Wanda as meaning commercial real estate has a lot of openings, and there might be chance to do a pop-up, maybe not a pure spa, but a pop-up space because of the opportunities of all the open real estate. And then tying that in with Lisa's shopping, lounge, wine, and accessories. Gosh, that would feel even greater after a pandemic to get to have it, go for a few hours to that. It would just be even sweeter than it would have been 2 years ago.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So when you're thinking about your content and education, there are two different versions, right? There's the version, again, of what we're putting up on social, and then there's the version that's a sale, right? It's a physical product that they're either taking off of your website or they're taking somewhere else. So think about your content and education differently. So even though your content may be educational, like on, you need a little more space than just one post, right? That's where the reels come in. But if you're going to do education, we've got to give people enough so they understand what your brand is and what the concept is that they're going to do, so that they can buy into it. The other thing about curation that I like is if I put a bunch of things together, then I make something new. And if I put these things together, individual plants, if I put them together, suddenly now I have a garden, right? How do I make all these potted plants come together into something that actually resembles a garden? Or how do I take all these individual flowers and make them into a bouquet? So that may be saying, hey, we're going to do a Mother's Day bouquet. We've got flowers. This is how much 5 stems costs, 10 stems, 20 stems. Your kids can come in and make a Mother's Day bouquet. Right? It's individual, it's one day, it's drop in, it's pop up. And now we could have done that again in the locations that we have, right? We could have done that at the bookstore. We could have done that in Lisa's store. We could have done that in a variety of places. So sometimes your curation is putting many things together that they get to pick. So Wanda, if you're looking at that free content, it would be to say, hey, I've got all these small things I would give away. Let them pick 5 off the menu and buy it for a certain price. That would work for you as well, Alice. One of the other ways that curation works really well is what they did not know. This is actually, Chan, probably going to be one of your largest items, is to enlighten people by curating knowledge that they didn't know. So that's also looking at who is the customer that you want, and you want that customer coming into your store that is already a user, right? That's someone who laughs at the confinement of $25 on books a year, right? There's no way I could live with that. So it's curating to that distribution point and saying, hey, here's something you didn't know, right? And you did that at the beginning of this call. Do you remember what you did when we first opened the call today?
No, what did I do?
What's the thing that everyone here gasped at?
There's only a Barnes and Noble.
Oh,
Vegas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? What a shame, right? So it's looking at that and inviting people to something that they didn't know. And by inviting them
yeah.
Right? They didn't know that. They didn't know that. So your fundraising, a lot of the things that you're doing is going to be around what does the possible consumer base not know? And what do they not know that they are super missing? So in your homework, I would really focus in on what do they not know? And then what is it that your product would give that? And Lisa, I think this is a strategy that you could also use. And Donna, I think this is also one that you could use. around what does someone not know about how many times gender is poised as a role. So how important it is to not see gender as the first bias that we have. So part of a conversation that you may have is really around gender bias and roles in sports and why that's important, right? So sometimes it's curating so that what do I not know? And we've used this before about how can your customers play with you when you're looking at new product or product that you are going to bring into the marketplace for a short lifespan. I do want you to think about product that somebody can actually play with you with. So Wanda, that would be those vision boards, right? We get to see everybody else's stuff. And that's probably why you like that event, right? We can see what you're doing in all kinds of artistic creation, right? It's how can we play with you? How can we build with you? Yeah. And how do we play with you? Another piece I'm going to put in your homework here is to look at, right, what are the communities of people that you can curate towards? So in this case, right, we still have all of the brand identity in here around this creator, but we would have created product and things around one of his community would have been drag queens, right? So as a TikTok provider, not only is he playing with people who are in costume play, that's a big deal for them. They expect something that's out of this world, but now let's create something specifically to celebrate a community, right? And we're in Pride Week, Pride Month, right? That it used to be a day, now it's a whole month. And it's not one color, it's every color in the rainbow, right? So, you have these communities that you may want to reach out with product that have, that can see your product differently. So, think about what are those communities of people. You can also focus in your product on just one item, one technique, one thing. So if I were going to look at, just the conversation, Lisa, we just had with you, right, about accessories, right? We have an accessories space. We can focus in on doing a class from inside the store that's live on Facebook. Now we can focus in on one item. How do you accessorize, right? What do you wear? And that could have been also a dual piece, right? That we could have cued that in with somebody who does just that. So focusing in on one technique. If we were looking at that for, for food, we would have said, hey, here's how you add the flavor of lemon into the summer, right? We're going to focus in on that one technique. We are looking at just one small thing. You may choose on that one item is to now build that on as a concept or a series. So if we were going to say, here it's lemons, right? Now we're going to say, here's lemons as scents for the home. Here's lemons as drinks. Here's lemons as dinner. Here's lemons as a color palette, right? We can take a concept and move it all the way through. And so we can kind of bring somebody through a series of things. The thing that I want to remind you about in today's concept is to keep your consumers consuming. You want to keep them interested, and that's the fun part of all the work that you do, right? Is not just what you're creating, it's what you're co-creating. It's what are you enjoying with that other, those other people. So, think about it as how can you co-create in a way that is interesting. We've talked about mystery before, but you have to have a little mystery. You have to have intrigue, right? And when you find the intrigue and when you find the mystery, then you hold that in there, and then you go, how do I add on to it? How do I add one more thing, right? How do I do a bouquet that's Day of the Dead? Right? How do I do this other item that's very interesting? So if the mystery in a bookstore is around time, right? Let's use the concept of time. For any of you who have read the Midnight Library, right? The Midnight Library would be around time and lifestyles and so forth, right? We can, if there's a person that's willing to read that book, there's a whole series of mystery books that we can invite them to, and we can have them talk to other people who have read those books so that they can be interested too, right? When you find the mystery, you can add on to it. Okay, I'm going to takeaways now. What are you taking away? This was a lot of content. I don't get to have my face yet because my computer's not working, but what is your takeaway? Lisa, I'm going to start with you.
I think my takeaway is just learning how to, I guess, revamp the concept where it will be more appealing to probably the millennial.
Yes.
Because they weren't part of my original operation model. And as far as like the gender aspect of it, I was pretty good on that because it was really sort of a mutual gender, idea I was going for. Is really open to everyone. So I think for me, that's my biggest takeaway, and learning how to actually implement that part in there. So the launch will be more successful. I'll test it more next Saturday and let you know.
I'm excited. Okay, Wanda, what are you taking away from today? What's your big takeaway?
I think one of the biggest takeaways is to go through the homework exercise to really look at all of the content that I have, but using it to build. How can I use it to maybe segment to young moms or whatever? And then the other piece is I really have to think about a platform to be able to sell some of the to be able to upsell. So how, like you said, distribution, how do I get it to folks?
Right. And Wanda, I'm going to just kind of piggyback because I know so much of your history. In that young mom group, right? If that's your focus, then if I were going to curate your content to go, let me just get that one piece, because you have a lot of information on that and a lot of experience with moms, is that I would just focus part of your social just to them. So if I were going to go on Instagram, I would just take all the products you created for that one community and just post on that and make that their platform.
Thank you.
And that way you don't have to go all over, right? So the people that you know on Facebook may be different than the people you know on Instagram, right? Okay, Chan, yeah. Welcome today. And Wanda, welcome back. Welcome back. We missed you. Chan, what are you taking away from this?
It's first, thank you. It's good to be here. This is such a great group of minds. The thing that I'm taking away is, so this idea is very new still. It's in its beginning phases, and you guys have kind of helped give me some structure to the research that I need to be doing and kind of shaping that for me. And it's very eye-opening. So thank you.
Chan, do you know do you follow or like the CEO of Zappos?
The current one or the former one?
Former.
So unfortunately, Mr. Shea, no, Mr. Shea is no longer with us, but he's a very interesting character for me because I wasn't really a fan of him.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that some of the concepts that he brought through into
Oh, yes.
Vegas are still there as far as what is Zappos' commitment to the city.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
So
agreed.
I think I would start sniffing around for money right there.
Okay.
Is
Okay.
that the revitalization of, you know, Fremont is huge.
Yes,
And
that's true.
right down from Fremont, you also have these other groupings of, you know, where all the old costume makers were, and they put in lots of different things just right down the street from there. So I would look at location for what you're doing, and you can do a pop-up there.
Okay.
Okay, you know where they built the what is that called? The park that has the big bug in it, the container park.
Yeah.
Right. So that area would be very good for a pop-up.
Okay.
When all the
I'll
tourists
keep that
are
in
there,
mind.
right?
That's true.
And here's the other piece I have for you is you have a lot of people here in this particular group that read and buy books. Is let them know why. Right?
Let them know why.
Them to do something. And you can drop ship. So you could have sold them new artists by doing nothing other than saying, here's the link. This is who we're highlighting now. So like I look at all of those people who are shipping independently. Donna, you're shipping product independently. So we can look at those people and just go, here's the product. We can showcase it. You get to pick what you like, and you can put it out to your followers, and then you don't have to do anything except work on how you get paid on the back end. So lots of ways to make money without having to have the whole store here.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Good
Great.
job.
Thank you.
Right. Jamie, and what are you taking away?
The homework assignment and having to look back to this, the main thing is just that I'm very big on curating whatever it is that I do. And probably why it takes me sometimes a long time to complete tasks. So really with my products there was just really taking the time to hone in on that and what those customers look like, how have I dealt with them in the past, and how I can continue to build upon that. My process is that when the products that I'm working on fully can hit the market, that I'll be like at the cutting edge of that, and just that I'm known to, and that's kind of my aesthetic anyways, is known to kind of curate things, whether it be just a meal that I'm preparing, like even today.
It looks exciting. Everyone is excited about those balloons they saw for a second.
The birthday dinner, I'm just cooking, but because it's important of how it looks for me. So the napkins are little diplomas. These are going to be like little bread baskets and stuff. And then I have like milk box cartons that I got, and I'm going to make drinks in those with straws so people can feel like they're back in school because it's a graduation. This room is going to be like the dessert room right here. So all these balloons will fill the ceiling and fill everything. And all I'm doing is cooking. All I'm really doing is cooking. But again, it's important for me to make things look the way that I want it to look, or people to feel a certain way about the experience of eating with me, less about, I know the food's good, hands down. I don't sidestep that whatsoever, but the experience of eating with me is like none other.
Right. And so that's the curation, right? That's the curation.
It's why just for a dinner of 10 and for them to eat something that they could probably save a lot of money for, I'm charging $3,000 for. So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good job. Now I do expect you to take pictures with your phone before you leave. That's my assignment to you. Please, please, please. Okay. All right, good job, Jamie. And Alice, what are you taking away from today?
Oh, so much. It's been a great class. I'm taking away that some things was a confirmation that I'm moving in the right direction, and how important your brand content is. Sometimes you have to invest a little bit more in your own brand. So it's just helping me to the strategy part is, I think, because sometimes you feel like you're on a Ferris wheel and you don't know how to stop or where to disconnect or where to complete one project and start another one. So I think it's really important for me to do almost all of the things you talked about. And maybe I need a team now. I need to invest in a few people to get me to where I need to be in order to make the kind of profit or even offer people what I'm offering them that's going to make their lives better.
Right.
So just everything. I'm feeling like I need to bring someone on now and to help me to get it to what you're talking about. And I think that's the key, is being ready to move into the next level.
If I were going to focus on one thing to go to the next level, again, for everyone, right, is the homework, right? Yes. And really look at that distribution model of, if you were going to do one thing today, it's figure out who else can sell your stuff. Who else can partner? Out of what do you have? How can they partner with you? Because it's really easy to bring someone on when there's actual money. Mm-hmm. So distribution is your number one place where you can see improvement immediately, because they can move product that sells, and then give them product that's low enough, easy enough that they can, that they can get your list going.
I agree. I think for me is connecting the dots. That's where I get lost a little bit. Is connecting all the dots so that I'm not overwhelmed with trying to make it all happen.
Yep. I agree. I think that's actually for everybody why everyone's here. Is you just need that boost every month to kind of go, okay, here we are. Okay. All right, Miss Dixon, what are you taking away? Thank you, Alice.
I'm taking away that I need to focus more on being myself and using my unusual pairings for things to keep people intrigued. Celebrating Day of the Dead, celebrating, the weird things I enjoy.
Right.
And I had a thought just before class, actually yesterday, where I was like, what if I had a whole wall of weird things, like a whole gallery of weird, super macabre things that people could pick up or play with or look at, that really incorporated the life of the flowers and the death that I'm super interested in. And then, like some of the weird things I know are like, did you know you can bury somebody in your backyard if you have 40 acres of land in Minnesota?
Right. Weird things. So the takeaway, one of the challenges that I want to give to you specifically is I want you to take one of your ideas and actually get them yielding cash, like in the next 30 days, because this is your season. Whether that be to create something, and remember, online is your friend. You have probably, out of everyone here, the most online skills of anyone. And again, right, getting an idea and getting that product positioned and sold and getting it out to somebody in the next 30 days. Are you willing to accept that challenge?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I love that.
Make sure you share it.
That CSA flower thing seemed like a really good one.
Yeah, could be anything. Well, you've done, well, she's also been doing a lot of product creation, you know, templating, things like that. But we need to see a post and we need to see some cash coming into your system, because you'll need enough to do. You need money.
Yeah.
Yeah, money. Okay. Donna, what's your takeaway?
Well, the converting non-users into users is a concept I hadn't really thought of. And I mean, it's like Mickey, like I need another idea, but you know, what I need is an idea that motivates me. And I mean, just for instance, on this call, who's a soccer fan?
Right.
Anyone?
Anyone? Oh,
Anyone?
one.
Oh, we
There we
got
go.
a winner. But it is to say, in my
Oh, we got two. We got two.
nice.
Yep.
But it's a small percentage in the United States, and it's I see people's eyes glaze over quickly when I talk about my product, because they're not soccer fans. And so just a really interesting idea to be like, oh, I have something for you too. But it also is to say that soccer fans have, you know, soccer people who love soccer would love, I just to be able to give something to your non-soccer playing friend.
Yes.
Or your soccer hater. I had a boss who just hated soccer. Oh
Wow.
my God, he was hilarious. And it just to say that, boy, there is a big market out there for a whole, these are the people I'm interacting with most. But anyway, I don't really need a new product idea. I just, whatever. I'm sorry,
Well,
Mickey, I'm not super
the
focused.
piece that I
but
want to go for you is that you already have the invention that is the hardest, is that you have the character, right? You have all of these characters, you have all of these birds, you have all of these drawings that can be put into a multitude of forms. And so if I were looking at new product creation, I would go back through and really go into what is another way that those already created characters can do something more.
Right.
So think of all the ways you've seen a Peanuts character.
Right. And I've never wanted a blog on my website, but for the first time ever, I've entertained the idea in this past couple hours, just like frequently asked questions about soccer, and then to have a little kid explain it would be pretty funny. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, well, glad you were here. Janet Mills, thank you for keeping track of all of us.
Yep, there's some
What are you
more comments
doing?
at the end, but I want to know when to jump in. So there's the thing I heard most from you and the thing that was an empty hole for me. So the thing I needed most was price list. So I'm thinking of some of our wedding photographers that have been in this group where they say, you can just have a little bit for social media, or at this price, you can have an album, or at this price, you get to have the JPEGs, you can have the images. Here's your price range. What's your budget? What are your dreams? And having that piece is missing for me. So that's what I took away. What I learned the most from you, or what I heard the most, was leader product, like a funnel, a LEADER. And the way I've experienced that before has been workshops, and I haven't joined on, but they're, for example, copywriting. So you get 20 or 10 amazing, truly good tips. And then the idea is that you'll buy into the over $1,000 workshop, which I haven't done. And the lead in is either, it can't be too salesy, and it also can't give away the whole store. And then it forms this online community that pay over $1,000 and they get to know each other. I haven't ever jumped onto that, but that's the formula I've seen a lot.
Right. I think
I did that with the immersion class, the Adobe Illustrator immersion community, and I'm part of that for a lifetime now. And it was, she gave 6 free classes and she gave away a lot, but all it was to say,
There's so much more waiting for you. And I have a lifetime of content now in Adobe Illustrator and it was $1,300. And that woman had 2,000 people in 2021. Do the math. That
Wow.
woman, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And I'd recommend it to anyone interested in Illustrator. Fabulous course.
So good. Janet, I'm gonna put a challenge out to you as well. Is that I think that price list for you is going to be a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready to get your price list created this summer?
Well,
or something.
Okay, so some things are new that I haven't done, and I know, for example, one group that meets one last day of a month who do that project, and they would sort of know how to put that together. But yeah, no, I need to work on it because it's a question for me. That's why I'm not giving it to the customer.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think that where you can do that is to go images. Here's how much 10 images as this can be, right? So helping people co-create content with images to say, hey, I'll come up with 10 ways to showcase something, or put together their words, their pictures, and be able to drop in something. Your place is the design, is the cohesive measure, but they can buy into something that you've already created as a template and just sell them 10 of those.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll have to decide what you are, but by September 1, I sure would like to see a template of something.
Yep. I mean, a lot of ways I'm the vehicle for them getting what they want done. Yeah. Like the airplane.
Well, I am sorry about my technical difficulties. It is probably safe for me to if I freeze, it's okay.
Okay.
But I wanted to say hello to everyone.
You look fabulous, like always.
Oh, I'll take the love.
Yeah, and thanks for hanging in there with the technology, Mickey. I imagine that had to be very stressful for you. So thank you for.
Thank you for noticing that I would go crazy over that. Yes. Yeah. And we do have we'll send out the audio of this as well. Karen puts those up on the NW2s are on YouTube. So if you haven't tuned in, you can go back and look at some of those. I think they're really helpful. But we do have the 20-minute review. So like for Jamie, who had to jump in late because she's doing 2 things at one time, they're really helpful. So,
Mickey, on that note, I made a note to go and review August of 2020 was about how to play with the client. You did a whole networking on that. And boy, there's so much out there.
Yeah. So Kelly will have all of your emails. So I'll just have her send that out. But all of your NW2s are online. So you can actually just watch yourselves again.
Eating breakfast. I love it. Yeah.
Can we do a shout out for Jamie to take photos, like the milk carton cocktails?
Jamie, and that's your assignment.
For her social media, and also so we can see.
And I need samples. I live close. I need samples.
She
knows I'll drive over for
product
samples.
Line.
So cute. Taste testing. You need to taste test.
Lisa's very spoiled. She lives close enough. She can always eat whenever. Anybody can eat whenever. But yes, I will take pictures. I will take pictures. I'm gonna write myself a note. I'm gonna turn around and put it up here in the kitchen because
Lisa can text you.
Yeah, Lisa, you call me at 6 o'clock before people get seated and tell me to remind me to take a snapshot so that I remember. I sometimes, once I start cooking, I get very focused and the ancestors start talking to me and I lose track of kind of everything. I'm in kind of my own zone.
Right.
Jamie, and if
I text for samples. I text for mine for samples. That's so sad. That's so sad.
So good. All right. Well, you guys, I will see you next month. We will send out, if you are not on the newsletter, right, send me a note and we'll get you on that newsletter. It's really worth it.
Quick question, the homework you gave us, is it something that we share with you or is it for us?
Well, first of all, I am greedy. If you want to send me that your homework, I will love it. You go right ahead. I can't think of anything better. So, you can, and I take notes. So now I'm going to write it down that you're going to send me some homework.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So I'll give you homework for yourself always, but if you are willing to share with me, I'll take it all because it makes it more fun.
Can we bring you homework we have?
You can bring me, of course.
Oh, great, because I have some stuff for you.
Oh, great. Well, bring it over. You know how to drive. It's kind of like Jamie. Just drive over.
Okay.
Sweet.
All right. Bye, you guys. Thanks for another wonderful day.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Good luck, Jamie.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks all. Have a great day, everybody.
Okay, thanks, Wanda. Bye.
Bye.